Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. I want to take a moment to thank you guys and your dealership for everything that you're doing on behalf of Toyota Motor North America and the Kansas City region. We appreciate everything. First and foremost, sharing this gratitude of thanks to all of your dealership associates. It means a lot to us and everything that you're doing. So, for example, calendar year to date through the end of March, when we look at month-to-date sales, you guys did a fantastic job. We talk about our Kansas City region, which is 6 states, 75 dealers. We cover the states of North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, so 6 states and 75 dealers. You guys finished the month at 40 in the region, and that was 42 sales. Calendar year to date at the end of March, you were 41 with 100 sales. So we appreciate all that you're doing, not only when it comes to new vehicle sales, but used as well, whether it's Toyota certified used vehicles or whether just used vehicles in general. We appreciate everyone's efforts there. Secondly, fixed operations, something going on this month in terms of promotion, Chris, which happens to be what?
You get to buy 3, get 1 for your tires for the Toyotas.
Absolutely, and that runs through Wednesday, April 30th. So what a great opportunity to reach out to our friends and family and notify them of this awesome promotion. Again, buy 3, get 1 for $1. Great promotion, and this is a great time of year to be buying tires. So we appreciate everything on the sales end, fixed operations end. Now, one of the things that we've done here a little bit differently, when I say we were talking about the Kansas City region, is we kind of pivoted gears. And what I mean by that is, historically speaking, when we bring a new model to the market, such as the all-new 2025 4Runner, what we traditionally do is we'll go to one of the 5 major metropolitan cities in our region and we'll offer a product launch. Not only will we bring the new vehicle to the market, but also the key competitors within the segment. And we do a compare and contrast, how we stack up, competitive advantage, etc. And we would go to the cities of Kansas City, St. Louis, Omaha, we say Des Moines or Des Moines, as well as Bismarck. Last year, we switched gears a little bit, and you guys are proud recipients, and you earn this opportunity and this leadership. And what we have is called Coach the Coach. What this basically means is train the trainer. Now, typically what we'll do is our sales training department and then our counterparts across the country, we'll go to a given location, such as Carlsbad, California, like we just had the train the trainer for the all-new 2025 4Runner, where we learned about that, and we go back to our respective regions and we develop a training program that we execute. In this case, what we've done is we've asked all 75 dealers to identify 2 coaches. We've got a fixed operations coach, Chris, and we also have a sales coach, Aaron. So the idea there is they're going to come to a given location. In this case, for this year, last year we were at the Kansas Speedway, where we talked about the all-new 2024 Tacoma, as well as the all-new 2024 Land Cruiser. This year, we're actually going to the Kansas Rocks Recreational Park, 380 acres, 35 miles worth of off-roading trails. We're gonna offer 3 different sets of coaches, and this will be offered on May 21st, May 22nd, and June 4th. So we're thrilled to have you guys there. We're gonna put together a great training program. We're gonna provide you with all the curriculum and the training that you can go back to your dealership and execute a nice training plan for your associates. Now, when it comes to the all-new 2025 4Runner, we go back, it's a strong model in our lineup, in our full-size lineup, which is strong. In my personal humble opinion, I don't believe that we have a weakness in our lineup. Everything is strong and it just gets better and better and better. Now, this all-new 4Runner is part of Toyota's electrification strategy, and it's the latest and greatest model that has that Beyond Zero badge to it. And so we talk about electrification. What are we talking about here at Toyota? Well, it's hybrid, plug-in hybrid, battery electric vehicle on hydrogen fuel cell. So those are the 4 key categories to really simplify it. Now, this year, 2025, we're gonna offer an electrification option in every grade, every model in our lineup. Very impressive to say the least. Now, 2030, which isn't all that far away, Toyota fully expects that 70, if not 80% of our overall sales will consider of electrification units. And we feel that without question, we've absolutely dominated in the space when it comes to electrification, and we're taking that momentum, moving it forward. When it comes to the 4Runner, this vehicle was introduced in 1984. Going back a few years, 1984, happened to sell over 4 million 4Runners. This is our 6th generation, and we happen to have 9 different grades. The entry-level grade is the SR5 grade. We bring it to the market just over 40 grand, all the way up to like the Platinum, TRD Pro, and Trail Hunter. We'll talk more about this in greater detail, but we're looking at right around 67,000 and everything in between. And we know that for these loyal customers, they love accessorization, and we've got all kinds of accessories as well with the associated products that oftentimes we find with those SR5 buyers. They buy it, it's a blanket canvas, and then they accessorize, so which is really, really cool. When you look at this vehicle from an exterior standpoint, it's absolutely gorgeous. Our engineers and designers did a tremendous job with it. It was Baja inspired, and what I mean by that is high lift, lean body, and large tires. And you can see it's certainly been influenced by our Baja inspired design there. Now, when we talk about the grade strategy, we bring in the SR5 grade, we have the TRD Off-Road, then we have the TRD Sport, we have the TRD Off-Road Premium, the TRD Sport Premium, which is a first for 4Runner in the 6th generation. Then we have the limited grade, and then we have the TRD Pro, and we have the Trail Hunter, and then last and certainly not least, for the first time with 4Runner, we're gonna have the Platinum grade. And that takes the refinement to a whole nother level. We're talking Lexus-like leather, just beautiful, elegant, stylish. And again, we have a 4Runner for everyone. It's described as rugged, stylish, sophisticated, athletic, a strong stance, and I think it's pretty evident when you look at this thing.
You have third row?
Third row, I'm glad that you asked. The answer to that question is yes. We've got the SR5 grade and the limited grade are the only two grades that you can get the third row seat. But those customers that are definitely interested in that, we're gonna provide them with those grades. So when you look at this vehicle, when it comes to performance, second to none, hands down. We have a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and that produces 278 horsepower, 317 foot-pounds of torque. You couple that with the all-new 8-speed automatic transmission, uphill and downhill shift logic, sequential shift. We talk about with the new 4Runner, there's no sacrifice, there's no compromise. What I mean by that is we're not losing any fuel efficiency. In this particular case, we've got cutting edge color. The silver is absolutely beautiful. One of 9 colors. So we have 9 colors, we have 9 grades, and if history repeats itself or we follow suit, how many airbags do you guys think we have?
At least 9.
At least 9. 9 is the correct answer. So 9 grades, 9 colors, and 9 airbags. Absolutely. On top of that all, with excellent fuel efficiency, in this case at TRD Off-Road, 19 in the city, 25 in the highway for a combined 21. And furthermore, allows us to tow up to 6,000 pounds. So how that compares with our outgoing model was 5,000 pounds towing capacity, another 1,000. We know that's extremely important for these buyers and they're gonna be thrilled to hear that. Now, if that's not enough, but wait, there's more. So now we have the 2.4 liter, 4-cylinder, turbocharged hybrid electric 4Runner. And that produces 326 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque. It's amazing, and it responds accordingly. You put your foot on that accelerator and you get that immediate torque, which is great. Now that's coupled also with a 48 horsepower electric motor that is attached to that transmission. That gives us that additional power. So just a tremendous power plant. And again, the first time that we see with the 4Runner, the hybrid power plant. Now when it comes to our chassis, our platform, we have a TNGA-F, which represents Toyota New Global Architecture F platform. And this is a global platform that we share with other models, so that allows us to keep the cost down, to pass those savings on to our customer. But this platform is excellent. Not only is it excellent off-road, but it's excellent on-road as well. I was talking with Ryan here not so long ago on the trip over on the journey, and he was like around these curves in southern Missouri, absolutely gorgeous. He said, you know what, Ryan, there's not much body roll at all. And that's a great driving characteristic that we're real proud to share with our customers as well.
Now, are you referring to the parts being interchangeable with, say, the Tacoma as far as suspension and stuff?
We're just talking about what we do at Toyota is we share some of the commonality when it comes to parts. Okay. And that allows us,
helps with availability too.
Helps with availability, and it also helps with consistency, but it also helps reducing that overall transaction price and passing those savings on to our customers. So again, not only is this rugged, this frame handles ruggedness, off-road capabilities, but on-road performance as well. The other thing here with 4Runner for the first time is we are incorporating these Dejima welded blanks, laser welded blanks. And so what that does is that reinforces critical points, and it prevents us from having to add all this additional mass, because we know mass and weight equals fuel efficiency. So in the critical points, we have reinforcement there that again keeps that structural integrity in that frame there. So we're happy about that. As you look at this vehicle, we know that when it comes to off-road capability, it's important. So for example, the approach angle is 19 degrees here. The ground clearance is at 9.1 inches. Our departure angle here is 24 degrees. So again, the high lift, it really allows for that. You're also going to find in this all-new 4Runner LED lights throughout. So whether it's headlights, whether it's tail lights and everything in between, as a result, we get improved visibility, greater overall range, and we also get longevity to these LED lights. Not only that, it looks very, very stylish. You're gonna see with these 4Runners that we've got model grade differentiation, so they look a little bit different. When you look at the badge, and that Toyota emblem. It's good to see the black overlay in this case. You guys like that? Looks really, really sharp. As we work our way around, we know that suspension is every bit as important. Now, we talk about the suspension, and it varies depending on what grade that we are talking about. So specifically, we talk about the TRD Pro, and that grade specifically is really designed for a high-speed off-roading, whether it's the desert, whether it's a prairie, high speed. Okay, and you're gonna find we've got Fox suspension. They kept the Fox suspension, which is exceptional for that grade. Then if we go to the Trail Hunter, then we've got Old Man Emu suspension. Yeah. So it complements this vehicle very well. In the Trail Hunter, we talk about Trail Hunter, we're hearing more and more about overlanding. And overlanding is a term that's used for these off-roaders, and really overlanding, the focal point is the journey. We talk about the focal point is the journey. Oftentimes we know that our buyers like to get off the grid, maybe dispersed camping. This is God's country here, beautiful. It's very important to not only be able to get off the grid and get there, but equally as important is being able to return. And with these vehicles, we're gonna be able to offer that. So when it comes to the rest of them, we're talking about independent front McPherson front struts, and in the rear, coil spring multi-link rear suspension. So in this case, we've got the beautiful TRD wheels, aggressive, they look good, they're 18-inch. If you look here in the front, we got these over fenders that are black. It looks really good on this particular model.
They're painted on the sports.
Where would you go for that information, Chris?
You go on the Toyota Engage site.
Thank you, thank you. And by the way, I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for what you're doing in regards to Engage. We know it's a tremendous product resource. You know I'm a huge advocate. You see me promoting it, you see my monthly emails. As a whole, our region has done a fantastic job. As a matter of fact, I just returned from Plano, Texas, where we have our corporate headquarters. We had some meetings. Many of the other regions, as well as our TMNA associates, are like, what is Kansas City doing? Why? Because when it comes to our Engage usage, whether it's the app, whether it's the website, we are off the charts, literally. And I mean, we've got a horizontal bar chart there, and you see the other regions in the nation, and Kansas City is so far out in front. So that's a result of our efforts with you as coaches, promoting the value of it, not to mention our Engage XP. That's very important. We're talking about product knowledge on a continual basis. The benefits of having that Engage at your fingertips is when a question is asked in the trivia, it forces you to go find this information. Now, what's the benefit? Well, when you happen to have a customer, whether they're on your lot, in your showroom, or on a test drive, a customer asks you a question and has some requested information, you know exactly where to go for that information. We know with our full model lineup that's strong, it's impossible to memorize everything. We don't expect that, but we do expect you to know where to go for that information. The other nice thing about the Engage website is the fact that, in that Engage XP specifically, is that you receive points for doing a great job. And these points are eventually converted over to Trek points. Now for Trek points, we have over 330,000 products when it comes to the merchandise marketplace. And if that's not enough, then we have an experience marketplace with over 2,000 experiences. And that could be anything from airlines, that could be cruises, concert tickets, productions, you name it, we've got you covered there. So again, for doing a great job and really taking your product knowledge and your game to a whole nother level, you're getting rewarded for it, and that's really good to be able to share with everyone. So, all right, when it comes to the outside mirrors, did a great job matching these over fenders. You're gonna notice here that they break away, which is nice. We also have the outside turn indicator, and that really helps improve visibility. We know that's for greater overall safety. In addition to that, for the first time with 4Runner now, we have standard blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert. It wasn't all that long ago that we had many customers saying, hey, how do we get standard blind spot monitors? Or, you know, in the lower grades, not just in the higher grades. Well, what it really boiled down to was a supply and demand issue. Finally, the supply has caught up with the demand, and Toyota, we're fortunate enough to offer it in all the grades. So that's a great key selling point. The other thing that we would encourage our dealer associates to do is demonstrate this for our customers. When our customers actually experience this rear cross traffic alert, that's when they see the value. So whether or not it's in your parking lot or if it's at the grocery store, you grab a buddy, put the vehicle in reverse, beep, 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 they hear that rear cross traffic and they can see that in that large touchscreen. And again, it's a value story and really goes a long way with them. They gotta have that, so that's great. Now you can see we have nice running boards here. Not by accident, we have oversized door handles, so you don't have to necessarily remove your gloves to open these doors. We also have an ARB roof rack here, which is sharp. And you look at our interior treatment, and it's very, very nice here. In the case of the TRD Off-Road and the TRD Sport and the SR5 grades, we're going to have a cloth seat treatment. And this cloth is nice. One of the things that you'll find too is the seat comfort. Extremely comfortable. Have you noticed that? You jump in, it's not an afterthought. It feels like these seats are very well designed. It feels like it's ergonomically correct, very comfortable, and that's a key selling point as well. Now, as we climb up in the grade strategy, for example, if we go to TRD Sport Premium or the TRD Off-Road Premium, it'll go from cloth and it'll transition into our Softex. And so, in my humble opinion, our Softex has really improved over the years. It never gets as hot as leather in the summer, never gets as cold as leather in the winter, wears very, very well, very, very comfortable. So it looks like leather, feels like leather. Some may be back in the days to call it pleather, but it's very comfortable. Then we go in the limited grade, now we're getting leather, and then we go all the way up to the platinum grade, and we're getting that Lexus-like leather, and it's plush and it's notable. So again, a great key selling point here. Now, if you go to the platinum grade specifically, we have heated back seats as well. So that's, again, taking that refinement to a whole nother level that we're real proud of. One of the things at Toyota that we're really pleased about, and that is the intangibles, the level of detail, the fit and finish, the quality of materials, the way everything comes together nicely, the gap tolerances. It's tight. What we notice and what you're gonna notice, how quiet these vehicles are. From an interior standpoint, it's low noise, vibration, harshness, and that also contributes to a great audio system we'll talk more about. We know that customers, is it safe to say that when they walk through your dealerships, in many cases they're very well educated on the product? They do research, and so they know what they're looking for. They can look at a spreadsheet all day long and they can see the key models in the segment, but it's the intangibles that we're talking about.
The reason most of them come back to Toyota again, especially with the 4Runners. It's a high percentage of people that go from one 4Runner to another one. I think this gentleman has about 30 of them. He needs a stable.
Wow, absolutely. Talking about brand loyalty, and in this case, model specific loyalty. We talked about the introduction of 4Runner in 1984 with over 4 million sold, and many of which, to your point, Aaron, is the fact that they're coming back. The loyalty. Everyone has been patiently awaiting for this new 4Runner. It's only been a decade and a half, so long overdue, but we're happy. The other cool thing, when you're on a test drive, and we know that in many cases, we'll get Toyotas that arrive on your lot 50, 60, 70,000 miles, and these vehicles age really well. This is something that we want to bring and share with our prospects or customers on that test drive. They don't always think about that unless we bring it to their attention. And as a result, that's why our vehicles age very, very well. Historical high resale value, residual values, not by accident. It's all the level of detail that our engineers and designers put forth well before they even build the vehicles. And as a result, that's why we have what we have, which is really, really cool. So as you can see, we're working our way around. It's consistent. You love the badging. It's clean. You like the black overlay. Again, it complements everything nicely. Now, as we work our way around, guys, you're going to notice a huge key selling point of the 4Runner from the rear would be what? The back window, absolutely. Thankfully, our engineers and designers did not go away from this, and we know that everyone is going to be extremely pleased to hear that. Can you imagine how upset some of our loyalists would be? Well, Chris, tell me how you would feel if Toyota went away from this.
Yeah, I'd be terrible.
It's a great key selling point. Not only is it a great key selling point for the 4Runner model, but also the all-new Tundra. And we are the only full-size truck in the segment that offers that, so it's a great key selling point. And again, many of our customers will love that. You'll also notice a beautiful spoiler that's color keyed, and this is a great design. As a matter of fact, the other day I went into the car wash, and this nice gentleman, very polite, he walks over and greets me, and he assists me with the purchase, and he said, hey, can I help you put on a sleeve on that rear wiper? And I said, absolutely. And I was waiting for him to walk around, and he's looking all over for that rear wiper. And I said, so I had a little fun with him and said, you don't need it, but thanks for asking. The other nice thing here is the consistency. And you look at that black color keyed shark fin antenna. When it comes to our Sirius XM, that's pretty cool as well. So this is a nice key selling point. How about the badging from the rear? You like it?
Very clean.
Yep.
Looks good, it's clean. Again, it matches the front emblem, the side with the TRD off-road, but it's consistent. And it looks very similar to some of the models that we've most recently launched, such as the all-new 2023 Crown, the all-new 23 Sequoia. You see the consistency, and the same goes here for the 4Runner. Of course, we got a Class 4 hitch here, again, towing up to how much, guys? 6,000 pounds, absolutely. But here's the other thing. You're gonna notice we have a tremendous amount of space in here for cargo and capability. So when you drop these second row seats down, you're gonna notice we have roughly 90 cubic feet of space. And we know in many cases, some of these people live out of these vehicles and they're very creative. You can go online and see what they've done. Every nook and cranny is filled with organization, all kinds of good key selling points back here. Now, when we talk about our hybrid or iForce Max power plant, we've got a 2400 AC inverter for power, but in this case, we got the 120 volt, 400 watt, 3-prong receptacle. So this is nice when it comes to plugging in your small power tools. If you're tailgating, your large TV, your blender perhaps, you like margaritas blended or you like daiquiris, you can do it all there as well. So again, they did a great job. The styling. The other thing that is very important to point out, and that's this wraparound glass. Again, paying homage to the heritage there and incorporating this, but really modernizing this overall vehicle, but paying tribute to the previous generation. So this wraparound glass, we've had a lot of initial
I've spoken to about it. That's one of their favorite features that they've brought into this new model.
Is that right?
Yes, everybody's a fan of it.
The same wheels as the Pro?
No, great question. So our Pro, as well as the Trail Hunter, will have 33-inch Toyo all-terrain tires.
Okay.
So 33-inch, noticeably different than here. So as we work our way around, guys, great questions too. So we work our way around, you're gonna see the tail lights, how they wrap around as well. Great looking style. We've got a 19-gallon fuel tank here with a lockable door, which is nice. Unlike this vehicle over here. That lockable door was somehow ripped off. Somebody's probably trying to siphon his gas. We got it safe and secure here, so that's good to point out there. As we work our way around, I'd like to sit down and talk to you guys about some of the great features that lie within, and there are plenty of them to talk about. So we talked about the fit and finish, level of detail, quality of workmanship, but you see in this case we have a leather steering wheel, which is very comfortable. We also have a leather wrap shifter, which is sweet. This is also a first now with 4Runner, and that's standard smart start here with a digital key. And that's pretty cool, and everyone likes that.
It's a little credit card key.
Yes, exactly. We're finding more and more people are learning about that, and that's their preference over the key fob. So it's nice to have that option. Also, the pre-wired auxiliary buttons here on the left is sweet. In this case, we've got the automatic high beams. We'll talk about this, part of Toyota Safety Sense. What version is it?
3.0.
3.0, correct, Aaron. You're gonna find that we've got all kinds of information here, such as our Qi wireless charger now has an enhanced power output. So not only is it a maintainer, but furthermore a charger, a true charger. So that's a great key selling point. We also happen to have the rotary dial here, our selector when it comes to our drive modes. It can be normal, eco, sport, and this will change the driving dynamic considerably, and it's noticeable. And you're also gonna find in this 12.3 inch, we used to call it the multi-information display, but thanks to marketing, we changed it to the digital gauge cluster. And by the way, when you talk about the all-new 2022 Tundra, that new body style that we have, our engineers, designers were thrilled to talk about this feature specifically. Why? Not only is it the trailer garage for our trailer backup guide and our straight path assist, but it's also, we have 5 national parks that it rotates every time you cycle your ignition, and that's really cool. It's a wow factor. So it's good to point out when you're talking about the 4Runner, the value there too. Yeah, all kinds of stuff here. Here is our electronically controlled transfer case, part-time, full-time, 4-wheel drive. The other thing to point out is when we talk about some of our higher end grades, such as the Limited and the Platinum, that'll be a full-time 4-wheel drive system. So it takes the margin of error out of the equation for those grade specifics. But this is nice and convenient. Chris, back in the day with your old 4Runner and you wanted to go off-roading and you're in sticky situations, what might you have to do?
Get out and lock the hubs in.
Get out and lock the hubs. No longer is that the case, so that's great that we have this here as well. We also
This one has the locking rear diff too.
That's correct. Our locking rear differential, electronically controlled, so that's important. Splitting power equally to the rear wheels, and it's good to have the maximum traction when needed. The other cool thing here with this off-road grade is we have the multi-train select, which is rock, mud, sand, etc. So offers the best traction depending on what terrain that we're dealing with at the time. So that's cool. In some of our other grades, as we climb up, for example, like the TRD Off-Road Premium, the Trail Hunter, the TRD Pro, you're gonna find that we have the multi-train monitor, and that monitor is sweet. How might you describe maybe a multi-train monitor to your prospects or customers?
It's like Like having a built-in spotter for off-roading.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what this is. And what that really provides is a peace of mind. So the beautiful thing about that multi-train monitor, multi-train select, you could be a seasoned veteran or you can be a novice. Really equals a peace of mind. So that's great to have that as well. But again, we have crawl control, and we might describe that as maybe cruise control at low speeds. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing is the multi-train select allows us not only low speeds, but high speeds as well now as a nice enhancement. So all kinds of capability when it comes to this 4Runner. It's basically a go anywhere kind of vehicle, and you're gonna see that. Now, the other thing that's extremely important to point out is the technology. We've never seen technology like we're seeing right now in the 4Runner. We talk about our audio system, for example. In this case, we have an 8-inch screen. As we climb grade strategy, we're gonna go to a 14-inch screen. So it's a touch screen, and with that we have standard Android Auto compatibility, standard Apple CarPlay compatibility, so that's very important. We also talk about the value of Sirius XM here at Toyota. Now, back in the day, we didn't necessarily offer all access or platinum. What this basically means is you didn't know you missed it if you didn't have it to begin with. So all access Sirius XM, what's the complimentary trial period on that?
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months, 90 days, so real easy to remember, and that's great to promote as well. Now, when we talk about our audio system, is very, very important. And again, we can talk all day long till we're blue in the face, but where our customers see the value is when we actually demonstrate it for them. Whether you're in your showroom or on your lot, we always encourage to really get into the throttle and the volume and show them the capabilities of what they can do. And it's very, very important to do that. And I'll give you a demonstration in a little bit if you guys would like to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, so in this case, with our standard audio system, we have 8 speakers, and as we climb up to the JBL, world-renowned brand, we've had a long-time partnership. The beautiful thing here at Toyota is our engineers, designers work with our JBL engineers and designers well before these vehicles are built. Why? Because what might sound really good in a Camry might not necessarily sound good in a 4Runner. They're looking for that optimum speaker location that will deliver that best premium sound quality, and it's noticeable. In addition to that, as part of the JBL system, now we have 14 speakers, one of which happens to be the very first, what is that? The removable speaker. We refer to this as a JBL portable flex speaker. It's housed right here. We don't have that in this grade, but as we climb up to the TRD Off-Road Premium, you're gonna find that JBL flex speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker. You have the ability to pair them, which is pretty sweet. It just enhances the overall audio system. So it's a great wow factor. We first saw this as a Toyota first in the all-new 2024 Tacoma, and now they rolled it in the 4Runner that everyone loves as well. It's also very important to talk about connected services. And we know not only is that important for all of our dealerships, but for our customers as well. So let's start off. What are some of the connected services that we have, guys?
Remote Connect.
Remote Connect.
Service Connect.
Service Connect.
Drive Connect.
Drive Connect.
Safety Connect.
Safety Connect. And last and certainly not least is Wi-Fi Connect. So let's talk about these. Traditionally, when you look at our resources, you're gonna kind of find a certain order, whether it's Engage or Toyota.com, and you're gonna see it listed as Safety Connect first. So let's talk about Safety Connect. The way I describe Safety Connect is really equals a peace of mind. Prime example, within Safety Connect, we have an automatic collision notification. And so what that means is if this vehicle is in a collision and the airbags are deployed, our response team will automatically attempt to contact the driver, and they will dispatch emergency services to the scene of the collision. So peace of mind. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, I was up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at Billion Toyota, and we had an associate come over from Har Toyota in Aberdeen, a couple associates, taking part of the 4Runner training that we're providing them. And Joel, a longtime sales consultant, he'd been there for 15 years, he said, Ryan, regarding Safety Connect, you're not gonna believe this. We had a customer come back to our dealership, recently purchased this. A deer hit the side of this vehicle, deployed the side impact airbags. And so as a result, what happened? They attempted to contact the driver and dispatch emergency services. So there's a prime example of how that feature really is designed to work and really offering those customers a peace of mind. In addition to the automatic collision notification, we also happen to have stolen vehicle locator. So in the event that unfortunately somebody steals this vehicle, obviously the first thing we do is ask our owners to file a proper police report. Then they will work with Toyota to track down the global positioning system to address that sooner rather than later.
Everybody wants a 4Runner, even the criminals.
Yeah, that's right. So in addition to that, we happen to have really roadside assistance that's built within. So it could be anything from a dead battery, key lockout, ran out of fuel, flat tire, we've got you covered there. So that's Safety Connect. Then we roll into Service Connect. And Service Connect really revolves around one word, and that's retention, retention, retention. I'll give you a prime example of how Service Connect should work. One of my really good friends back in Nebraska purchased a 2021 Tundra. He had an excellent sales experience at this dealership. And not only did he have an excellent sales experience, they introduced him to the fine people in the service department. These are our factory trained Toyota technicians. These are the experts that work in your vehicles day in and day out. And it's very important that you come back, introduce them to the fine people, made them feel comfortable so that when they came back to the dealership, they were a little bit familiar with the personnel as well as where to pull up, et cetera, et cetera. About 3 months after ownership of this vehicle, he calls me. He's like, hey bud, he's like, I can't quite remember when it comes to the oil change, do I have 5,000 miles or 10,000 miles? When do I have to replace the oil? I said, great question. The answer is 10,000 miles. Why? Because you have synthetic oil. However, you definitely want to get back to the Toyota dealership, again, with the factory trained technicians where they can assist you. Very, very important to rotate your tires to get the maximum life out of your tires, et cetera, et cetera. He understood that. We got off the phone call. It's not but 3 days later, he calls me. He's like, dude, I can't believe this. I go, what? He goes, I received a call saying, Mr. Morton, we can see that you're due for your 5,000 mile service. For your convenience, can we schedule you an appointment? He goes, wow, I'm impressed. And so that right there is what it's all about. I share this with our regional office. I share this with many dealers because that is the poster child. And what Service Connect is intended to do is cementing that relationship with your customers in that vehicle to bring them back. Because we know the reality is the more likely they come back to your dealership for service and parts, they're much more likely to buy new vehicles. Then we talk about Remote Connect. Remote Connect is incredible. Let's be honest, we've had a situation over the years where we maybe haven't had the best remote start. We would have customers complain, we don't have the greatest range. They were disappointed after spending this money, so therefore they would go aftermarket. No longer is that the case. Pleased to share that Toyota's addressed that in a big way. So now with Remote Connect, we have the ability to start and stop this vehicle anywhere in the country. Well, here at Toyota, we talk about feature, function, and benefits. What's the feature, how's the function, and most importantly, what is the benefit? Why is this important to he or she? Well, let's just take, for example, you fly back into the airport and it's extremely cold in the winter months and you're waiting at baggage claim. What a great opportunity to start your vehicle up. By the time you arrive, it's warm, it's ready to rock and roll. It's a good example of how that's intended to use. Another great example is having the ability to lock and unlock this vehicle anywhere in the country. Why would you want to do that? Well, a great example would be, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I flew into Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and I realized that my buddy left his Chiefs jacket or his laptop in the vehicle at the airport. No problem. I had the ability in Poplar Bluff, Missouri to unlock the vehicle to where he or she could access the vehicle. Tremendous value associated with that. The other nice benefit is Ryan Anderson, your district service and parts manager, brought up another great example, and that is it shows you where the vehicle was last parked, its coordinates. GPS. So we've all been there before, whether it's a concert, whether it's Christmas shopping around the holidays and you're at the mall. Where did I park? And so what do we typically do? We do one of these, right? No longer do we have to do that. Why? Because you can look at the remote app and you can see where your vehicle parked, and that'll help you.
You can sound your alarm for the remote app as well.
Yes, that's another great point. You can see distance to empty information, all kinds of information regarding the remote app. Then we talk about Wi-Fi, and we always encourage, another question that came up recently is, can we demonstrate this at our dealership? Do we have a demo app? The answer is yes. We can demo all of these connected services with any vehicle. You have the ability to simply connect and then you can disconnect. So you can demonstrate Remote Connect for your customers so again, they can truly see and experience the value of that. One of the things that we don't want to necessarily initialize is Wi-Fi Connect. Why? Because that starts the clock on 3 months with the Wi-Fi, and so we don't want to do that. Our customers might not like that, but that's the only connected services that we won't demonstrate just for obvious reasons. Then we talk about Drive Connect, and that's really our native onboard navigation. With that, we get voice recognition, we get over-the-air updates. You have the ability with voice recognition to say, hey Toyota. It's a great demonstration. We would encourage all of our associates at our dealerships to demonstrate this for their customers. It's really the wow factor. So you might say something like, hey Toyota, take me to Arrowhead Stadium. And it literally will drop the coordinates and there you are. You could say, hey Toyota, please turn to Sirius XM channel 34 lithium. It'll do that. Hey Toyota, please take the temperature down to 68 degrees. It will do that as well. So all kinds of value associated around Drive Connect. And again, that's a native onboard navigation. There's another huge competitive advantage that we have here at Toyota, and that's called what? When it comes to maintenance. How about Toyota Care? 2 years, 25,000 miles, complimentary maintenance. We always say nobody rides for free, Johnny. It's seen Point Break. If we refer to 2 years, 25,000 miles, complimentary maintenance, along with roadside assistance, 2 years, unlimited mileage. Oftentimes when we talk about the value of Toyota Care, that is left off. So we want to make sure that our customers know about roadside assistance equally as important. Toyota Care, huge competitive advantage. Again, it revolves around retention, getting our customers back to the dealership. But we're going to talk last and certainly not least about safety. That is first and foremost here at Toyota. We know that safety is the #1 key buyer motivator out there. Everybody's into safety, whether it's young children, whether it's grandparents, everybody's interested in safety. So how many airbags, guys?
9.
9 airbags, correct. Here at Toyota, at one time in our trucks and SUVs, we had standard star safety system. When we talk about star safety system, we're talking about standard. Well, then Toyota simplified it. Not only did they make it standard in trucks and SUVs, they simplified it and they made it standard across our entire full model lineup. And that's huge. And that's really our solid foundation, our platform, if you will, of safety features. We talk about our safety suite, and that consists of anti-lock brakes, ABS. We also have brake assistance, electronic brake force distribution. So what's the benefit there? Well, we apply brakes where the weight is. Whether it's passengers, cargo, or engine weight, we apply the brakes, making sure that our customers are safe. Brake assistance, what is that? Well, in the event of an emergency stop, maybe a child runs out or a deer, you can hammer the brakes and it provides additional brake force. Peace of mind again. Then we talk about traction control. The sensors identify a slipping wheel. It reduces throttle, redirects the power to the wheels of the greatest traction. Vehicle stability control, less likely to have the vehicle roll over with that technology in place. And then last and certainly not least is our Smart Stop. And Smart Stop is now incorporated in all of our vehicles. Great safety feature, and that is if you, in the event that you would simultaneously press the accelerator and the brake, it'll cut fuel to the injectors and bring the vehicle to a controlled stop. So a great safety feature. That's the latest and greatest. No more burnouts. So that is really an excellent safety feature that was incorporated around the 2010 timeframe. Now at Toyota, we built upon that solid foundation of safety. And now we have Toyota Safety Sense. And back in the day with the 4Runner, we had Toyota Safety Sense P, which represents premium vehicle. We also had Toyota Safety Sense C, which represents centric city vehicles. Compact vehicles is what the C represented. And now we have versions. So Toyota Safety Sense 2.0, Toyota Safety Sense 2.5. In this case, we have Toyota Safety Sense
3.0.
3.0. Thank you, Aaron. That's exactly what we have. And with that, we get standard pre-collision system with pedestrian detection.
Works very well.
It does. That is probably a feature that we don't want to demonstrate for our customers.
I've tried.
Oh,
It did work. I'm still here, so I shouldn't have done it, but I was curious.
And it will pick you up. If you're walking behind a vehicle that is backing up, it'll throw the brakes on. They will not hit you, but get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Or when you're coming in the garage a little hot.
Coming in hot. Tremendous value around that. We also have standard, so again, pre-collision system, pedestrian detection. We also have lane departure alert, now with steering assist, which is nice. Lane tracing, we'll get to lane tracing. Then we have automatic high beams. So this part of the country is more than ideal. When you're on that 2-lane highway, you got your brights on and this button is pushed, it'll automatically dim with the preceding vehicles and to low. So that's really beneficial. It takes the margin of error out of it and it just keeps you in the oncoming traffic overall safer. And that's automatic high beams. Then we have full speed dynamic radar cruise control, full speed, which means you could be downtown Poplar Bluff, Missouri and cruise control at 10 miles an hour with no problem. With Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, we also get an additional setting. We used to have 3 settings that would keep you in the desired distance behind the preceding vehicle. We have enhanced. So with our enhanced camera, our forward-facing enhanced cameras and our millimeter wave radar does an excellent job of looking at the preceding vehicle as well as the lane markings and the guardrails, keeps you where you want to be. Lane tracing assist, huge feature. The first time I experienced it was in the all-new 19 RAV4, and wow, when I experienced this, I was like, that's a game changer. So when that full speed dynamic radar cruise control is fully engaged, lane tracing assist follows that. So what that basically does is it provides subtle or very slight corrections in the steering wheel, keeping you nicely positioned in that center of the lane, which is where you want to be. So we always encourage our associates on test drives, particularly to demonstrate that great feature, once again, so customers see the value of it.
One thing I'll add is it is not intrusive, it is intuitive. A lot of people are concerned that it's going to be like an old NASCAR arcade game that's going to throw you around. It's very subtle, it's easy to work with, and a lot of people that are initially a little apprehensive about it, once we've showed it to them, they're almost overwhelmingly impressed with it and they enjoy the feature and they want to leave it on on during the delivery. They asked that we just keep all the features turned on at that point.
Absolutely, so well stated. That's something that we want to share with everyone based on your experience there, because it is value added and again, keeps them safe. And when you're sharing that, those great safety features, along with that comes trust and credibility in the road to the sale. So all good stuff. And then we also have road sign assist. So when we're in an unfamiliar market such as this, not from here, but having road sign assist is extremely beneficial. That'll pop up signs such as stop, yield, do not enter,
Cross traffic,
well,
pedestrian.
speed limits, cross traffic, pedestrian, and speed limit. Less likely to get a speeding ticket when you have greater overall awareness, and you can see that up front and center.
We've all wondered what the speed limit was, and you never are looking whenever you pass one. So now you can just look down at the dash, it's picked it up for you.
Absolutely. And then with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, we now have proactive driver assist. And what that basically does, it's a great system, excellent technology. It allows the vehicle and the sensors to anticipate what you're about to encounter and will maybe brake accordingly, keeping you in a much safer manner. So all kinds of great stuff when it comes to Toyota Safety Sense. Now, it's a lot of information in a very short period of time. Do you guys have any questions? Any comment?
Not on this specifically, and I don't want to get off in the weeds a little bit too much about different models and things like that, but I think it's all been very well stated.
Well, I appreciate your guys' involvement. Now, if you'd like, be more than happy to demonstrate this audio system like we talked about. Don't want to forget about that. So how does that sound? So no hair metal. No hair metal, he says. Tiffany, I'm sorry, no hair metal. That's Aaron's request. We aim to please around here, you see? So this is our audio system. You guys are welcome to jump in the vehicle, and I'll share with you what I would consider to be a best practice. Now, we've all probably have experienced this at some point or another, and that's when you're on the interstate at night and you look over and you see a vehicle that happens to have their large touchscreen and it's totally bright. In fact, it illuminates the interior.
Yep.
And we don't always know that that's personal preference. In many cases, they may or may not know that you can customize or adjust that. So the very first thing that I do when I get in a vehicle, and I guarantee you, every vehicle up the Transport, your Toyota Transport will look like this. So the first thing that I do, in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, I'll select that gear icon and I will scroll down here to display, and then we will select, there's a toggle here referring automatic. I will take that toggle off and I'll select nighttime, and look how that changes the display. So it's noticeably different. It really complements this 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, the interior, and it's been my experience when you customize it like that, people are like, oh, there's no question, this is what I want. So it's a great value story that I definitely wanted to share with all of you. Secondly, another wow factor that's going on right now, and of course, Zeppelin, the greatest rock and roll band of all time. Some of you may have heard that there's a movie out, it's a documentary on Led Zeppelin, becoming Led Zeppelin, just ironic, happens to be up here. But the other really cool thing about this is you have the ability to basically adjust the vehicle's sound within. So you can customize it according to your personal preference. So you'll scroll down here to sound, media, sound tuning, and then you're gonna notice there's a treble. Here's a mid. We gotta take the bass up here. Very, very cool. And now you scroll down here and you got 4 quadrant, and you can adjust or customize the speaker location. Very cool. And this is a wow factor. People love to see this, not only at delivery, but during the sales process as well. So very cool. Now I'll share another story with you, because I think it's very important when you're explaining some of these features and we describe the feature function benefits. And here's a prime example. We happen to launch the all-new 2023 Sequoia at our dealerships, and it was not only an educational opportunity for our dealership associates, customers in many cases were invited as well. And I happen to be at one of our Toyota dealerships in West Omaha. It was a Village Point, Berkshire Hathaway store. And like I talked about, it's good to demonstrate this. So we're launching this all-new 23 Sequoia, and I've got a black limited with JBL on their showroom. And I'm demonstrating this, and I happen to be playing It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll by AC/DC. And it's not but 30 seconds later, this guy walks in with an AC/DC back in black shirt. And they were like, you gotta be kidding me. Now they thought that I paid this guy or I planted him to be there, and that was not the case. We couldn't believe it. It was just totally coincidental. So of course, these guys were going nuts. We got pictures of them. It was very cool. Well, shortly thereafter, this gentleman walked up that was a current customer of theirs. theirs. He happened to be in a 2014 Sequoia, and he walked up to me and he said, man, I wish you wouldn't have done that. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, your ears could have been bleeding because we were pumping clean power out of this JBL. He said, no, my ears aren't bleeding. I love music just as you do, and I'm torn right now. And I said, why is that? He said, because you've got a black limited Sequoia with JBL that is not for sale because you're using it for training purposes, as you mentioned. But over there, the dealership happened to have a white limited non-JBL. And I said, well, it's a tough decision. Here's what you have. Over there, you have a good audio system. Sounds very good and much improved over the years. And over here, you have an exceptional audio system. So you can do one of two things. Either you put your money down for this vehicle and wait indefinitely because supply was not near where the demand was when we launched that vehicle, or you could buy that vehicle today. What do you think he did? He bought the vehicle that day. And he also put a deposit down, made for an excellent used vehicle in these unprecedented times. But here is a prime example of being able to demonstrate and show customers the value of our audio systems and how good they sound. And when you do that, great things can happen. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But if you want, I'll give you a little demo. Would you like to hear it, how it sounds?
Yeah, let's hear it.
And again, guys, this is standard multimedia system Toyota. Back in the day, to get an audio system equivalent to this, what would you have to do?
Buy aftermarket.
You have to go aftermarket, whether it was the old Kenwood,
Kicker or
Pioneer, Kicker. I heard the Alpine was a blast in the past. Sony, the big amp, it had 6x9 speakers in the back. This is state-of-the-art factory right out of the gate. So a great conversation. And again, we don't know what their true buyer motivation is without asking them through a solid needs assessment. Are they here for safety? Are they here for performance? Are they here for comfort, convenience, and technology, or QDR and value? A solid needs assessment will help us identify, but nonetheless, it's always great to demonstrate this. So unless you have any questions for me, guys, that's all we have.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you guys for your time today. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you much. This is a lot of fun, and it's great to be able to share with you some of the great features, functions, benefits of this impressive all-new 2025 4Runner, so thank you.
It's got a good AC too.
Good AC. Hey, there is no question you guys can sell these. We just have to get you the vehicles. We know you'll be able to sell them. So.
Everyone we have on the way is already sold.
Nice. Isn't that great? They leave the dealership as fast as they arrive. Right. So a sense of urgency. Here's the other thing that's really interesting. When we talk about unprecedented times, here's a prime example. We talk about this selling. We talk about the industry sales, the SAR, the seasonal adjusted selling rate. We talk about at the end of the month of February, the SAR, what the industry forecasts or projects it'll be at the end of the year. By the end of February, it was 16.1 million in 1 month. At the end of March, it was 18.2 million. From 16.1 to 18.2, there's probably some variables in this large equation. What might come to mind? What do you think is driving that? We talk about market conditions or anything that might come out as market conditions? How about tariffs? You think tariffs? Tariffs creates a sense of urgency. And so it's interesting right now, the cost of goods and services everywhere has gone up, and we're finding that people want to get in and buy right here, right now. So you guys have excellent inventory, great product that you're happy to sell them, and it's just a matter of making that happen. So we appreciate all that you do over here at Baldwin Toyota, sincerely. And on behalf of the Kansas City region, Toyota Motor North America, we are partners, we are one Toyota, and we're one hand washes the other, and we're going to do this together. So thank you guys for all that you do. It means a lot to us.
Oh, you bet.
Now you're getting crazy.
Is this what you do every day?
Tough day at the office for all of us, isn't it?